everybody. We are back, and this is the mock draft 2.0. Before we start, I just want to say I don't know how well the quality of this video is going to be just because I'm back at my college dorm room. So it's not going to be as good as probably the other videos. So I just want to throw that out there. But first, let's jump into this. This is post-divisional round and post-college football playoffs. So let's jump into it. With the first pick, I do have the Bengals selecting Joe Burrow. He just played his mind out in the college football playoffs. He did struggle a little bit early, but he looked like he was the number one quarterback after a while in that game. Next, same pick. Redskins go Chase Young. Get the best player in the draft and build up your defensive line. Same thing, same pick. I got the line selecting Jeffrey Okuda out of Ohio State. And, Darius Slay is looking like he is probably going to depart from Detroit. So I'm thinking that, you need to get yourselves a brand new corner. Or even if Darius Slay stays, that's a pretty good cornerback duo that you got there. Next, I have the Giants selecting... where is he? Did I pass him? Andrew Thomas, yeah. The offensive tackle at Georgia, best tackle in my opinion. And they need to protect. They need to protect Daniel Jones and protect for Saquon Barkley. So get the best tackle in the draft and improve that line. Next, I have the Dolphins selecting Tua, despite the injury. I think they think he could be their franchise quarterback. And you don't pass up on a quarterback that you think could run your franchise no matter where it is in the draft. So I think that's why they go Tua here. Even if he has to sit out a year, he'll be the future of their franchise. Next, I have the LA Chargers selecting Justin Herbert, the quarterback out of Oregon. Justin Herbert. I think Phillip Rivers is done in LA. I think he's going to move to a new team. So I think they got to look to the future and look for a new starting quarterback for their franchise. And I think they do that with Justin Herbert. Next, for the Panthers, this is going to be an easy pick for them. They go Derek Brown out of Auburn. It fits their biggest need and best player on the draft board still. And they get an absolute steal at Derek Brown at 7. Next, with the Cardinals, a lot of people think they're gonna take Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb or one of the top receivers for Kyler Murray. I think they want to protect Kyler Murray so he doesn't have to run for his life and possibly keep getting hurt, or not keep getting hurt, but get hurt a lot without an offensive line. So I think they select Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. I think he's the second best offensive tackle. And, I really do think they need to protect Kyler Murray. You still got Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald for, one more year. And I think you could take a wide receiver such as Tylan Wallace or someone like that coming out in next year's draft. Next, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Isaiah Simmons, linebacker out of Clemson. The next linebacker, he's the best linebacker. There's a huge drop-off after him at the linebacker position in this draft. So I think they go Isaiah Simmons right here and build up that defense. Even though they do need a wide receiver, I think they take Isaiah Simmons for that defense because they do have 2 first-round picks for trading away Jalen Ramsey. And, he didn't play. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of the national championship just because I was busy doing some homework and stuff, but from what I saw, he looked fairly decent. He didn't look super good like he normally did, but I still think he played pretty solid from what I saw. So next, the Browns, easy decision here. They go Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle out of Alabama. They need to protect Baker Mayfield, open up the run lanes for Nick Chubb. They're really missing I can't think of his name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot think of his name right now. It's their old offense. Joe Thomas. They're missing Joe Thomas. So I think they go Jedrick Wills to help build up that offensive line again. Next, easy decision for the Jets. They go A.J. Epinesa, edge rusher out of Iowa. And, he's a really good edge rusher. He just declared for the draft today. And, I think the Jets do need some help at the edge position. They have A.J. Epinesa. Next, the Las Vegas Raiders select Jerry Jeudy. I think he is right now the best receiver in the draft. I think CeeDee Lamb will eventually be better than him. That's just my personal opinion. But I think right now he's the better receiver. And, as a Broncos fan, it sucks seeing a wide receiver of his caliber go to the Raiders. But I think that's what's going to happen. Next, I have the Indianapolis Colts selecting CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. I've been saying this for a while now. If you watch my other mock draft, I think Tom Brady is going to go to the Colts, and that offense with CeeDee Lamb, that'd be a scary group, and I think they could be Super Bowl bound next year if that does happen. Next, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Jacob Eason, quarterback out of Washington. One of you guys on my last mock draft said if a coach really likes a quarterback prospect, then it causes their stock to rise. And I think that down there in Tampa somewhere, Bruce Arians and all those GMs and front office people, I think they really like a quarterback. I don't personally know who they like, but I do think they like a quarterback that they could scoop up in the first round. Put some pressure on Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston signs, I still think they take a quarterback. Put some pressure on him to play well and say, hey, if we need you to play well. If not, then we got another franchise guy. And if Jameis Winston does leave, then, well, they got their future franchise quarterback. He does need some development time, so I do think it would be best if they still had Jameis Winston and sat Jacob behind Jameis, but we'll see what happens. Next, my favorite team, the Denver Broncos, because that's where I'm from, Colorado. I have us selecting Henry Ruggs still, wide receiver out of Alabama. We need a speed wide receiver. We need a number 2 option. We just hired Pat Shurmur as our offensive coordinator. He likes to run 3 wide receiver sets. So obviously Cortland Sutton's one of them. And then we got Tim Patrick and Deshaun Hamilton, who are both good number 3 and number 4 options, but not really a solid number 2. So I think we go Henry Ruggs out of Alabama to get us our number 2 option there. Next, I have the Atlanta Falcons. I have them going Christian Fulton. I think he struggled a little bit early from what I saw against Clemson yesterday in the national championship, but I still think he's a solid lockdown corner, and I still think he will get the job done, and he can be a great number 1 receiver down there in Atlanta to help them build up that secondary. Next, same thing with Dallas. I have them going Grant Delpit out of LSU. Honestly, anything could happen, but I do think they like Grant Delpit. They were trying to trade for Jamal Adams this past season. Failed. So why not get a safety that's kind of like Jamal Adams from the same school for your own? So pick up Grant Delpit out of LSU. Next, we have the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins could go anywhere. I originally had them going Austin Jackson out of USC here. I think they actually go Clavon Chasen out of LSU. And, they do need an edge rusher, so I still think they build up that defense. And, they do need to work on both sides of the ball. So you got Tua. Now you got Clavon Chasen. And, I think that's a great pick. I originally had them going offensive tackle because I think they need to protect Tua so he doesn't get an injury like he did at Alabama. But, I think they could pick up an offensive lineman later because I think this is a deeper lineman class. Next, I have the Oakland Raiders selecting Trevon Diggs, cornerback out of Alabama. He's the brother of Stephon Diggs, and he played pretty well this past season. Raiders need to bump up their secondary a little bit, especially with our division where you got Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, Tyreek Hill all in your division. And so pick up up Trevon Diggs to help your secondary. Next, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting wide receiver T. Higgins out of Clemson. He played pretty well last night. He did get hurt for a little bit, and then he came back to the game. But yeah, I think T. Higgins would be their pick at wide receiver. I could see them also going Laviska Shenault out of Colorado, but yeah, I think T. Higgins is the pick here. Next, the Eagles really need secondary help, whether that be through free agency or the draft. I'd have them going out through the draft here, and I have them picking up C.J. Henderson, cornerback out of Florida. It might be a little bit of a reach, but if you really need a corner, why not pick up the best available, even if it's a little bit of a reach, to protect your, or not to protect, but to help your secondary out there, because you really need some secondary help. Next, the Buffalo Bills. I have them selecting Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State. And, they need some edge rush help. Matos is the best edge rusher still available in the draft. And so, yeah, I think you need to boost up your edge rusher, because your Buffalo is pretty close to making a deep playoff run. Next, the Patriots, and they need a quarterback. And originally, I had them going Jordan Love out of Utah State. But now, I think they go Jalen Hurts out of Oklahoma. I don't know. It's just a gut feeling I have. I really feel like Jordan Love's going to fall. It's a personal gut feeling that I have inside, and I don't know really why. But I do think that he is going to fall. Maybe just because Utah State is a smaller school than Oklahoma, but that's just personally what I think. So yeah. Next, I have the Saints selecting Jalen Hurts' teammate Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma. Help up their defense a little bit. The Saints got screwed for the third straight, or they didn't get screwed, but they had a disappointing loss for the third straight year in the playoffs. 2017, it was the Minneapolis Miracle. Then last year in 2018, there was the big no call for PI, and then there was another one at the end where it should have probably been PI on Kyle Rudolph, but that's just me. So, yeah, another heartbreaker in the playoffs. Bump up your secondary with Kenneth Murray, and yeah, there you go. Next, we have the Vikings, and then I have them going Javon Kinlaw, interior defensive lineman out of South Carolina, help boost up that interior defensive line. I think the Vikings surprised a lot of people this year. I think they were a pretty decent team this year. I mean, obviously they made the playoffs, but I feel like with a little bit more help on the defensive side, and then a little bit more firepower in the offense, maybe in the offensive line area, I think that they could be a good team. Also, I don't think Kirk Cousins is it, so I think you're going to need to find a new quarterback soon. But that's just me. Next is the Dolphins, and I could have them go Austin Jackson here, but I don't think they do. I think they go DeAndre Swift, running back, out of Georgia, as they traded away. Traded away Kenyon Drake, so I think they need still a decent running back, because I don't think Kalen Ballage is a good number one running back. That's just me. So I have them go in DeAndre Swift out of Georgia. Next, I have the Seattle Seahawks, and they go Laviska Shenault, wide receiver out of Colorado. Imagine that offense. Russell Wilson, Laviska Shenault, and DK Metcalf. I don't know if Marshawn Lynch is going to return next year. I don't think he probably will with their running back group, but I think that offense would be really scary with Shenault. Next, I know a lot of people think that the Ravens really need a wide receiver help. I really don't, because they like to run around with Lamar Jackson. They got Mark Ingram. They got Marquise Brown last year. They could take a linebacker. Not really great linebackers available. So I think they go and they pick up Curtis Weaver, edge rusher out of Boise State. I mean, a little bit of a reach, but not too much of a reach, because I still think he's a first round talent. I really do. Obviously, only 32 players can go in the first round, so it's tough. But I do think Curtis Weaver is a first-round talent. Now, unfortunately for the Titans, they did get their pick stolen, but yeah, I think they go. The Titans, they got Ryan Tannehill, who is currently leading them in a pretty deep playoff push, which, is good. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Ryan Tannehill. However, I don't know how long Ryan Tannehill is going to stay in the league or how long he's going to stay healthy. I think they'll want to keep him around for a little bit longer, but, eventually they're going to need to find their new franchise quarterback because Marcus Mariota isn't it if they bench him. Ryan Tannehill has performed great, but I do think they need a quarterback eventually for the future, and I have him going Jordan Love out of Utah State. I don't think you can pass up on his talent, especially if you need a quarterback eventually a little bit down the road, whether that be next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4. You never know what happens. You never know. So I think you pick up Jordan Love. You have him sit behind Ryan Tannehill for a year or two. And then eventually you say, thank you, Ryan Tannehill. You let us down to a great playoff run. So I thank you. Now, here you go. Next, the Packers. I think they go Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU. They got Devontae Adams. They need a number 2 option, just like the Broncos. My Broncos do. I think they need another wide receiver, and Justin Jefferson is the best one available, so I have him going that way. Next, I have the Chiefs selecting Jonathan Taylor. They need a running back. They do. They got good receivers. They got a good quarterback. They got a decent offensive line. They just need a good running back. Jonathan Taylor, running back out of Wisconsin, second best running back in this class. I think they go and they pick him up. And next, with the San Francisco 49ers, I have them going Xavier McKinney, safety out of, I couldn't really see that, Alabama. And, this is my 2.0 mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's have a civil discussion on what you guys think will happen in the first round. Let me know what you think your team is going to do in the first round. And, I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate for the support that's recently been going on the channel. And I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.